Welcome to day 100 on my Raid Shadow Legends account. This is my Balling on a Budget series, and as has been the case for many videos along my journey in my return to Raid as this moderate tight budget spender, I am joined by Bront Catherder. How you doing, Bront?
Pretty good. It's been fun watching you grow as a creator and as a channel here too. So it's definitely been fun, and it's nice to be along for the ride again.
It's been great having you here the whole way. You've been very useful in videos, but very useful behind the scenes, being just such an expert in this game. So everyone go check out Bront Catherder in the description in the top pinned comment. I want to show you one thing. I did lie. It technically is day 102. We are 43 minutes since reset. I planned on filming this on day 101 and apologizing. Technically now it's day 102 and I'm apologizing. So I'm sorry, viewers. I'm sorry, Bront. But nothing's changed. Day 100 was the biggest day on my account, and I'll explain that to you. TLDR, I had better summons on that day than the previous 99 days combined times 5. But I haven't pushed any new content in the past, 25, 26 hours. So can we call this day 100 and move along?
Yeah. So just the only thing I got to roast you about is you've done Faction Wars, right?
I did a lot more Faction Wars. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But basically what I'm thinking is I kind of want to focus on where the account's headed, not where the account has been. I figure viewers ask for updates all the time, so maybe I'm going to take whatever it is, 1, 2, or 3 minutes. I'm going to do my best to bite my tongue, not give my opinions and explanations. If I start doing that, you can roast me into shape or whatever. But I just want to give the lay of the land. And then I kind of want to talk about the new champions I got, and then I wrote out my plan for my new Demon Lord team. And I thought that could be a cool way, obviously focusing on Clan Boss, focusing on the Demon Lord, but kind of just using your expertise and your thoughts and your impressions on what I have planned to give me, but most importantly, the viewers, an impression on how to steer your account in the right direction when you hit, like, I don't know where I'm at, the late early game, the early mid game. I think it's a relatable point in the game for a lot of players. So shall we get to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're in a position where you're fighting to get to Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, which is the big next step where you're at. You're kind of pushing in Hydra. You're kind of making headway where you're starting to work about finishing Faction Wars. And at least that's the impression I've got from this stuff. Let's certainly show the viewers and take a look at that. But that's really kind of a turning point in accounts.
Yeah, I think it's pretty spot on. And I think, it just worked out really crazy that there was a bunch of summoning events on day 100, and it was the first time I was lucky. So it's kind of a natural moment for this account, like a nice round number and then a couple momentous pulls that people have probably seen in some of my videos. Otherwise, they will discover it now. But also check out those videos, and also subscribe to my channel. I always forget to say that. I say to my guests, and then I plug stuff at the end, but I never say subscribe. Subscribe. What are you doing? Click that button. Okay, let's go in here. Let's go pretty fast. Campaign, the only thing I'll say, not that campaign's interesting, I still haven't done Nightmare campaign. I haven't done anything here since like week 2 or whatever. I just haven't thought to do it. Do you think that's something I need to care about? Like, I'm not going to farm there. It'd be just for the goodies, right?
I think it's one of those things that it's probably before the next summoning event of some kind, just do it. And I say summoning event because there's a sacred at the end of it, and you probably have an account that can deal with it now. But there's also, I think there's 5 or 10 ancients hiding in there somewhere. There's a bunch of 6-star speed gear, and there's probably about 200 or 300 gems in there. So, it's just a few free things.
To be honest, I didn't know there were that many good freebies. I just was like, yeah, if I really, really get thirsty for a sacred. But you'll see I have 2 hidden sacreds on my account that I want to show you, and the viewers will claim it all together. But that's a good point. I didn't know there was good gear, and I certainly didn't know there was a bunch of ancients. So my account's good enough. I've got a big stockpile of diamonds and energy, so we should do it.
Yep.
Let's go to the dungeons very, very quick. I'll tell you, Iron Twins, I've kind of got to that natural point of stage 12 on everything and hit a pretty hard wall on 13 on everything. However, 2 of my new pulls, I think, will take me straight to 15 once I tune stuff up. I think you'll probably agree with that. I'm not going to click on all this stuff, but obviously the keeps are maxed. I will say the one interesting thing with the keeps, it was very easy getting them to 20. It took a while before they were kind of fast, and I'd say they're kind of fast now. So that's been a nice new development over the past several weeks. Minotaur, I solo it with Alice and whoever needs to get farmed up. Ice Golem, this is one of the ones where I'm farming hard. I made it to 3. Normally I farm 2, but if I'm being honest, I just farm 20 because it's faster and I bring food. So one thing I've done, maybe you saw, maybe didn't, some of the viewers, if you haven't seen, check out the video. I duo farm it with Alice and Tagoar in 3 foods. I feel like a lot of people get bogged down in the solo farming, but like a lot of people can't solo farm if you don't have really good gear or the perfect hero, but a lot of people can duo farm. So that's what I do. Same kind of story for Dragon, actually. I've pushed a lot higher in Dragon. I made it up to 8, but I can farm 7, I'd say, with like 95% consistency, and it's not so long. But I did that for, I don't know, as of a month ago, 2 months ago, I had been doing that. And then I switched, and I'm like, I'm just going to duo farm everything. So I just do this now. This was actually just so I could get a bunch of decrease attack out for a clan quest, but this is how I do it. This and food.
Yep.
Fire Knight, I will say, it was pretty easy beating it. I farmed 20. I can't beat hard. I haven't really tried, but I thought it would be a more easy natural transition because I have Neldor and I have Creodin. It wasn't. So at some point I might have to pick your brain or watch one of your videos or someone else's videos because the hard things were all new to me. They didn't really exist, or if they did, they had just been added when I stopped playing. The other ones just felt like the same stage. This one I thought, oh, it'd be the same stage, but I need freeze. But I think there's other stuff I'm missing for
No,
sure.
that one, just the needing freeze is so much of a difference, and the unfortunate fact that unless you have somebody like a Newt or
Yeah.
a Carl, you don't have a 100% freeze, so you need things like ally attacks that are consistent. And you've got a Morag. She's a good ally attacker. She's not a legendary ally attacker.
Yeah. I think that adds up because yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll bring Created and Neldor and it'll be easy. And it was like I couldn't even beat stage 1. I was like, we're gonna revisit this in ages. And then some fun stuff here. Sand Devil, I have not pushed since the first time we ever talked about it. The first time you ever told me to do it, I got to 13 and then never went back and farmed 11. Just for whatever those Prism events were early on my account. I've never returned. I got enough materials from the 2 Prism events I pushed here that lasted me until maybe a month ago. And I was just like, I'll just do it when I feel like in the mood. And then this is one of the fun things of my account. To this day, I still have never done Shogun. Not once. I don't know what the fight is. I've never watched a video on it. Maybe I caught you on stream doing it without realizing or something, but this is kind of a point of pride at this point. I was like, my accessories aren't good. Like, I'm not going to do Shogun. But yeah, that's kind of it. I guess Faction Wars, this is a big thing when I had Cole Red on. I've definitely improved. I'm up to 670. I don't know if you saw, I hosted a Faction Wars challenge for some of my viewers, and I gave the winner $50 worth of Prism Crystals. Actually, $50. Yep. He asked for the Prism Crystals. But I rose 216 stars, I believe it was. I was at like 440, and I think I went to I was at 420, and I went to 6, what would that be? 636, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I've picked up a little more. Dwarves I beat really fast. My dwarves are really good, and they've only gotten better. The other ones I've done well, and it's kind of just Sacred Order. I think once I summon Udex, that will be pretty easy. And then Fabian is the ultimate cheat code. Aside from that, it's just doing what I can do. High Elves are doing pretty well too.
I did Ator, and Ator helped me get through Sacred Order pretty much right away. Alice is such a hard carry, but you need somebody else for the boss, and so that's pretty much him.
Yeah, so I think Udex is pretty cool for that, and I'll have the 4-star soul for him. But yeah, basically it's like I'll wait till they do the next Curse City 4-day move around and reassess. Doom Tower, I am planning on beating hard this month. I got here. I need to actually sit down and do Bommel, but I know I need to push it because it's a Dark Fae month. We'll see. I'm hopefully the new heroes put me back on track. But yeah, I think as soon as maybe today or tomorrow, I'm gonna just focus up on that Bommel. I do have a hero you're going to see that should help a lot with Bommel. And then Curse City's been a real pain in the ass. Final thing was just Clan Boss. So I 1-key Nightmare, I 1-key Brutal. And then I've been struggling a bit with Ultra Nightmare getting a consistent like 20 million key. But I think for sure that's going to change. And frankly, the idea I have in my head, I think I can get up towards 2-keying this. Because I have not tuned or reset anything in a very long time, but I have a big reason to, and that's going to kind of be the crux of the second half of this video. Hydra, I can 1-key hard. I just got it for the first time. Shout out to my friend Moodman, who helped me out with that a little bit. Also, shout out to Raijin, who's been giving me other general advice. And then normal, I 2-keyed this chest, which you told me is the same as the first chest, so who cares?
Yeah.
Chimera, I'd 1-key each of these, and there's no real use right now to do this since I can't hit high enough to make it matter.
Yeah, hard has been a point on my free to play as well too. I've just kind of hit a wall where it's like I can get almost 30 million reliably on normal, and I hit hard and I hit 10 million and I just die, and it really is a climb on that. So
before we go into the champions, I think I just want to show you the last couple check-ins. One is, I have been spending, and I have been trying to stock up a pretty decent bit. So I've got this big static energy here, lots of auto battles and XP. I did at one point have just an ungodly sum of potions, which I've slowly started to go through. This, though, I think I'm going to use for this champ training for the Lydia Soul. That's the big plan. And then aside from that, yeah, it's just I've been in pretty good control. You can see I haven't used a single gem in a very long time. That's kind of the joy of spending, I guess. But it puts me in good situations where, like this Lydia thing that's coming on Monday, if people don't know there's a champ training where you can win a 5-star Lydia Soul, like I'll use it all if I have to. That feels like a kind of amazing opportunity. One other thing, I got very lucky in this champ chase group that got me all the champions you're about to see. This is unbelievable, this lag. Oh my God. But as of now, I'm in cruise control, and I've got Udex and Ishiyama and Broadmaw waiting. So I'm hoping that's enough. There you go. So you can see I'm winning by just about 2,700 points to touch over that. So we'll see. We'll see. The final thing is I'm at 5 sacred shards. I haven't used sacred shards in a long time, except for the couple I needed for the summon rush. I think I did 2. But I did just have 2 people finish my last 2 referrals. So I want to just quick thank yous and shout outs that can be, memorialized in this video. So thank you, Stad Atler and Flow River. That were the 2 that helped me get these 2 started. But a big thank you to Cheeky Chops and to Jim, who finished them off for these guys. And then Doctor Who took this thing from 1 to 50 almost as fast as I took my account from 1 to 50. You know Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
He's crazy. But yeah, so that finishes that off. So here's number 6, here's number 7, and officially I'm going to move over to this. I'll take the moment to selfishly plug if anyone is interested in helping me rush the next 3, hit your boy up. Yeah, all right. Is it champion time? Any questions you got?
No, I said you've got a good account. You have definitely pushed it pretty far. You've done a good job of balancing it, especially considering you are not like hardcore grinding like we were for the free to play Highlighties challenge either with that as well. So this is a little faster than a normal person who's a free to play might expect if they're playing reasonably, but you're spending, which makes some sense.
Yeah, I'd say there definitely been periods where it's like I haven't been going that hard. I've been keeping it at pretty tight efficiency. There's days I don't get all the advanced quests because I'm like, oh, freaking rare champion in clan boss, and I already ran my clan boss. But you know how it goes. I guess I forgot to show PvP, so I go jump up and down between bronze 2 and 3 right now. Maybe I'll push bronze 4. I don't know. I do kind of like live arena, so I'm in silver 3. I think better than some, worse than others, obviously. I hadn't really had any big pulls for that. And then obviously Gold 5 is so easy once you just sit around and wait for the right battles. Champion time? What do you think?
Oh, let's go for it.
I had some pretty cool pulls this weekend. So heading into this weekend, I had only ever pulled 3 legendary champions, which is, I think, pretty bad for someone that had spent like almost $500. I think it was just $400 or so is what we had spent heading into this weekend. And you can see it here. He's like, so these are all fusions or free to play logins or promo codes. And then I pulled Molly, I pulled Esme. I didn't fuse Esme, I pulled her. And then I pulled Samar Gem Cursed. And Samar I've just not used at all. I have so many good epic dwarfs. I never, all 50 of these levels came just sitting in the sparring pit. Molly is amazing for Hydra. I really do love her. And Esme, I use her in faction wars, and that's kind of it. But as you can see, there's a couple things that I didn't mention that people might have noticed. I did Prism Shards yesterday morning, and I pulled Rotos and Brogni. People should go watch it. I kind of lost my mind. Brogni is like a top 3 favorite champ in the game for me. And then I got Neve. I only had 30 voids on a 2x. I know it's going to make some people jealous. If it makes you feel any better, I counted. This is the 5th void legendary I've ever pulled in my history of playing Raid, which spans 6 years. So even back when I spent on my first ever account, I only pulled 2, and then I'd only pulled over my 2 free-to-play accounts, 1 on each ever. So this is literally the 5th void legendary ever. So she's amazing so far. She's blowing my mind. I'm waiting to 6-star her, but I have everything ready. Her kit's crazy. I'm sure I'll make a video on her if people are interested. And then we got these 2. And then I'll just quickly say the new epic pickups that we got. A couple nice ones, but the main thing is Venomage, wherever she is. There you go, Venomage. And we got Maneater. I got a couple dupes here of these guys. And then I got your favorite, Azor. I also got a dupe of this. I got a new Umbral. I got a new Urogrim. So it was quite a nice day. Two-Hawk. And then I will say I got Madame Ceres from my Madame Ceres link video that I shared that unfortunately it looks like they kind of trashed that link. But it did work for everybody for over 24 hours. So hopefully you guys were lucky. That's kind of it. So maybe you want to give your thoughts, and then I've prepared a little, I already DM'd it to you, but I prepared a little plan for you.
Yeah, no, we were going to review a clan boss idea of yours, and I think that's certainly interesting. I've got some thoughts on that too. Your roster's great. You've got a bunch of champions. Obviously, the problem you're going to have right now, and of course, you're going to be going into champion training with so many resources. It's not going to be as big of a problem for you as it might be for like my free to play, where you have so many champions to train. Eurogrim is worth 6-starring. Eurogrim is a beast. You're currently duoing a bunch of stuff. Eurogrim can solo the stuff you were talking about duoing, so he's absolutely amazing. He is, he's one of my favorite epics, honestly. Maneater is so good for content, let alone, obviously, he's an amazing clan boss if you want to build. Do you have the team for like the budget Maneater team, for example?
You could certainly. I could. I think so. The team I want to pitch you is like a conventional team. I do think I could probably, if I could pick up one more buff extender, I could run like a huge shield team with Brogni. But I think you'll like my idea. I also like running like a conventional team, and just seeing what you can do.
So the killable budget Maneater team involves Painkeeper. So I don't know if you have a Painkeeper. No. Yeah, okay.
I've been hunting her, but no.
Yeah, I would love a Painkeeper on my free to play too. So, but again, Maneater's so underrated in normal stuff too. That turn meter steal on his A2 is underrated. The decrease attack on the A1 that's an AoE decrease attack is underrated. Just so good.
Yeah. For PvE content, I mean, you will have enough accuracy. You cannot weak hit. This will be an AoE decrease attack on the A1. It's such a good skill, and you never hear about it.
Yeah.
And then this is like, I don't know why they don't call it a steal, but it is a steal. And then it just cycles into the rest of the kit so nicely. So
Adam Saris is a lot of fun. She could help you in arena in some cases. Probably more of a 3v3. I don't think you're going to use her in live much, just because Fabian's probably better for you than Adam as far as a stripper is concerned on live. Husk is I see a Husk on there. Husk is going to be amazing for you below Sepulchre Sentinel.
You know what's kind of crazy? Like, so I'm just at the part of the Arbor missions where I have to start ascending everybody. I'm actually doing my last one tonight. I've had Diana waiting forever, and then I just 6-starred Sepulchre Sentinel because she was going to go into my clan boss team. So I was like, oh, she'll be my force. And it was deciding between her and Husk. But now, I just pulled Neve and Brogni. So I'm like, dang, Neve is just Sepulchre Sentinel on every steroid under the sun, So I'm like, I should have just gone for Husk like I thought originally.
That's always I did the same thing with Vergis. I built Vergis, 6-starred Vergis, and then pulled a Taragi like the day I 6-starred him. And I was like, at least they're good in different content. So that was actually, I still use Vergis for some stuff.
And he can solo some cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
I had that with I 6-starred Frozen Banshee and then pulled Geomancer the next day. And I was like, well, the spot's gone in the Clan Boss team. Speaking of the spots in the Clan Boss team, unintentional, beautiful transition. Shall I pull up the little thing I prepared?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, I want to lean into like a conventional Clan Boss comp. If you guys don't know what I mean for conventional Demon Lord, like not some kind of unkillable or endless comp, I do think eventually we could pretty easily with like 1 or 2 more champ pickups transition into something, I guess, which is the most typical thing, which is doing the non-conventional, the OG, the classic thing. But for the classic thing, you just need a lot of buffs and a lot of debuffs. So what I did here is I wrote out my plan, which is Neve as a lead. I'll go over her in a second. Morag, Hotatsu, Geomancer, and Alice. And then I wrote down the strengths of these characters. Like a nerd. But I thought it'd be a good way to present it. I'm sure you know all this stuff off the top of your head easily, but it was nice for me to write it out, and I'm sure not all the viewers know it off the top of their heads. So Neve has got a lot of cool stuff for a lot of content. I've already used her in live arena and stuff. She's just working everywhere. This passive is so much crazier than I thought it was when I pulled her, because I thought this was just at the start of the turn, at the start of the round, the next time her HP drops. But no, it is literally no cooldown every time her HP drops. So as long as you get it back up, she'll just keep putting out AoE block damage. That will help us towards the end of the clan boss run. But the key thing is, here, no accuracy needed, 75% chance, single hitter to put out a decreased attack and a decreased crit rate. But the decreased attack is obviously really cool. This is really great. These shields are enormous, really good. They depend on the content. So for bosses, so clan boss, that will scale off of her defense, but her defense is just over 1,500, so it's very high base defense. But what's crazy is for other stuff, the value of the shield is equal to the difference between the target's current HP and the target's max HP. So however much the allies lost, the shield's like the whole freaking bar sometimes. It's pretty nuts.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't work for for boss content, but really cool. And then over here, we got block debuffs, we get ally protect, and we get a very big heal scaling off of her defense. So she's bringing a lot of stuff. And then the cherry on top for an account that still doesn't have great gear, 35% defense all battles. So you probably know a lot of stuff, but I'm just learning her as I got her, and the viewers maybe are unfamiliar because she's brand freaking new. But yeah, basically she's my lead with the big defense, so it's going to help our gearing. She has heals, she has block debuff, she has shield, she has ally protect, she has decrease attack, she has decrease curry, she has block damage. Then I wanted to use Morag, who Morag just like hits hard. She's really fun. And then she obviously has this strengthen. She counterattacks when she she has this strengthen. She counterattacks when she's under strengthen, which she puts on herself. And then she's got this, like you said, it's not a legendary, but it's a baby ally attack. So at least it's something. So that's gonna be our Morag. Hotatsu, we definitely need to get increased defense. This is the one thing that would take Neve to like completely and utterly busted if she had that on top of everything else. Like she was also putting that out, but I think we really need that. It's also effectively buffing the DPS of Morag and Neve, who both hit pretty hard. And it's not like Hotatsu doesn't hit hard. All these guys are defense based. So increased defense, continuous heals. This could help maybe pick Neve back up, I was thinking. So she can keep proccing block damage. Leech is obviously strong. And then here's another source of decreased attack, since obviously Neve's was only 50-50. Now we've got Geomancer. Not too much to say about Geomancer, right? I still, to this day, think he's the single best epic in the game because his entire kit is completely broken. He's going to give us weaken. He's going to give us decreased accuracy. Not that we really need it. We're going to have the block debuffs, but then the HP burn, which triggers his passive, which is the broken reflect damage. And then finally, I think I still want to keep Alice in. I still have her in a Giant Slayer build. So after that first hit, I turn everything off. So it's just everything for the A1's just triple hit her every time. And then she's my Brimstone champ. So I don't know if I have a better source. That's the plan, Mr. Bront. What are we thinking?
I think that's a great plan overall. The only thing that I think I would look at doing, and it's one of these things where I think what you'll do, because you're already going to have them built anyway. You've got Taragi. Do you have Taragi at 6-star already?
Yes, so Taragi I use already.
Yeah. I actually, what I run in my free-to-play is I run a double ally protection team. So what happens is my ally protector also gets ally protected by the other ally protector at the same time. And you'll laugh, but it's... Otherwise, your ally protector constantly needs to be healed up constantly. They're going to take a bit more of a beating. They're never going to get the one shot. And if they ever get stun attacked, they're dead at some point in time if you don't have that extra ally protection. So I think it might be an interesting thing to throw in Taragi in maybe instead of either Morag or Alice. Taragi also adds all those extra poisons, and you cannot underestimate how those poisons are. They are so good.
And it's another source of decreased attack too, to kind of increase the chance that stays up. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. What you can do is you build the team you're looking at right now, you run it, and then you say, okay, this is what I did here. Then you throw Taragi in, and you're not tuning this team specifically. I don't think you're not going down to the Deadwood's calculator and you're not saying, I want these things to happen at this time with this particular order. You're just kind of saying, let's build these champions and kind of let it go.
I was going to tune the team.
Oh, you're going to tune the team. Ooh.
Yeah, that was the plan. I had two thoughts. This is maybe where your expertise could come in. I was thinking I could do a full tune, standard tune, 1-to-1, or I could do part of the team tuned. So like, what do I mean by that? Like tune it so Hotatsu is putting the increased defense up when I want him and he's going last. So everyone's wearing it, that kind of thing. Let me actually see my list so I can tell you who I was thinking would need that. I was thinking mostly Hotatsu and then potentially Neve, depending on how that worked out. But because I don't think I want Neve outrunning all the debuffs, since she's the one putting outrunning the buffs, that she and everyone else is placing upon her, since she's going to, like you said, take the brunt of the beating. But yeah, I was thinking of trying both a full tune. I have a 3-hour gear move, so I was thinking I'd stream it and try doing a full tune and then try and mixing stuff around. It's kind of frustrating because I'm dying to do this, but I'm waiting to build Neve. I did already skill her because it's not a personal reward CVC, and I wanted to see what she was like, and she's crazy. But yeah, I kind of do like the idea to take out Morag. Because she is her appeal was she hits pretty freaking hard. I was thinking the strengthen is just going to make us so tanky. And then she gets extra hits here, and then the ally attack we get better chances to get the the decreased attack for Neve, the leech here, stuff like that, Brimstone procs, Giant Slayer procs. But yeah, I mean it's not like we need her the way I feel like we need the other guys. So there probably is an argument, and maybe I gotta try it out and see what Neve ends up looking like if we're making it deep enough,
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too, is you might be able to do it untuned to start with, and then you can kind of play with the tune in Deadwood's calculator. And here's the thing, I know you say partially tuned. I don't know if have you played with Deadwood's calculator at all on some of these things?
Yeah, I used to do clan boss takeovers for people all the time, but like 2021. So I'm
Mhm.
going to be rusty, but hopefully it comes
Yeah.
back.
Because unfortunately, a partial tune is really difficult because the way the turn meter works, if you want somebody to go at a specific time every rotation in the clan boss, everybody else has to be tuned around them. Because the moment you have somebody else who's moving around in the clan boss in an irregular thing, at some point in time they're going to land in the wrong spot, and then some rounding error is going to happen, and then suddenly the tune's going to get thrown off.
Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. I'd done a partial tune like twice before, never for one of my own accounts, but I would always be putting in what the other speeds were into the calculator just to see how it would be lining up. That is a good point, and yeah, it actually could be like a real thorn in my heel for this thing. But yeah, I think I like your idea that like, I mean, I don't see how I don't use the other four, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the only thing I could see thinking is either Alice or Morag swapping out, and it's
Yeah.
one of these things where I might, if you're going to put Taragi in as the fifth, and then it's going to be an extra spot between Morag and Alice, you try both of them and see what happens. And the other thing it might be, I could actually see you against Force maybe throwing Morag in instead of Alice just for the affinity
Yeah.
problems that Alice has. Not that, I mean, to be fair, she's still going to be your most damage dealer. So honestly, it's probably not going to help you that much. But sometimes from a perspective, Alice is going to be the squishiest champion in here compared to Morag, who's a defense based. So possibly if Alice is struggling to stay alive where Morag may not.
Yeah.
But again, she's also a legendary with a soul, so she may have enough extra defense and HP that she's not as squishy as you might think she is otherwise.
I do have her in like my nukeria build, not accounting for I didn't account for HP and defense, and she still kind of hit pretty acceptable levels, especially
Oh yeah,
once we get an increased defense and a 35% aura. Um, so yeah, we'll see about it. But I really like your idea to just swap in and out and yeah, figure out the core team. And I'll have to see how tight I want to tune it if I want to tune it at all. What I have in my head is like the way this fails. Eventually it will fail because it's just the fight's going to go on and we're just going to get wiped. But
yeah.
we miss an increased defense at the wrong time. Someone's not wearing it, or it doesn't line up. We're not getting the decreased attacks out. I like the Taragi idea though. My question is it possible? I'm trying to think through Taragi's kit. Could we land enough poisons from this that it could mess up our debuff bar, or is this
Not likely
unlikely?
because you're going to get, at most you can get 3 of those on the triple hitter on the A1, or not the A1, it's actually the A3 and the A2 of the clan boss.
Yeah, and that's like a
Um,
12.5% chance that you're going to land the 50-50 every time, right? So
yeah, and if you land all 6 of those, you still have 4 debuffs open. You've got Geomancer's Burn, you've got the Weaken. Did you have decreased defense up there or no?
I don't have decreased defense. Yeah. So
Okay.
another thought I had was like Venomage, who I just got. But yeah, that could also, the Venomage is like now we're really filling up the debuff bar, but like we're taking less damage, right, from her passive when we put out the heal reduction mark. We get our decreased defense, more sources of decreased attack. I don't know. There's a lot of it's good problems to have. I have
Oh
infinite
yeah.
more options than I did before. When the second night of this whole bunch of all these characters we mentioned, the first I pulled was Brogni, and I'm like, oh my god, that's my new clan boss team. And then it was like in steps Venomage. I'm like, oh wait, now maybe she's got to fit in. And then then comes Neve and then Maneater. I'm like, wait, can I throw something together there? And I'm like, Uragrim. Wait, do I need continuous heals and even more poison? And then my brain was racing.
Yeah. I mean that is one thing that would be an interesting option for you eventually, and I think putting Alice in now makes a lot of sense. I could actually see a time where Brogni comes in to replace Alice because Brogni's shield gives you additional healing with the
Yeah.
shield takes damage. You get additional reflection, which is always good in that type of team. You get additional block debuffs, which means you probably have it up 100% of the time at that point, or
Yeah.
nearly 100%. You do have the burn overlap, which is a minor problem with him. But if you get but because you might want him with some accuracy, you could in theory still also build him with brimstone eventually, and then you don't lose the brimstone either once that happens. So
That's a good point.
Brogni may be a better option overall than Alice long term. Although whether or not he's going to outdamage Alice or not It's really going to be, is the Giant Slayer reflect damage going to outdamage her doing direct damage?
Yeah, good point. Actually, I have a question. How do the proccings of the reflect damage from the shield work? Do those count as individual hits or?
Yes, that's why you want Giant Slayer on him.
Okay, because I remember like at one point they nerfed something with Brogni's reflection.
Not him. They nerfed it with Geomancer. What happened is Geomancer needed Brimstone, or no, needed that, and apparently the way they had his reflect work, it caused all kinds of server issues.
Oh, really?
So they simply made it a passive to get rid of the server issues, so it no longer was looking to see what mastery had every time it was hitting. And I have no idea why it works for Brogni and not for Geomancer, but this is Polarium, so whatever.
No, that's a really good shout. I mean, I'll have to keep it hunting for the soul. Souls are my least. That's a video for another day, Bromp. But I think souls are horrible. Or at least the system to get them. I despise souls and how important they are. But yeah, I mean, that is a cool solution also because like it's kind of been my dream to get Alice out of my clan boss team. I still don't have a good AoE attack nuker. So it is Alice for me, and it kind of stinks that like she's still doing a good job, but I know she'd be doing so much better if we could get her into, I mean, what would be the best here? Crushing Rend or something like that. And then we get her actually into something really nice over here, get her out of this, put her into some Helm Smasher or something. I think that'd be a lot more fun. Get a little shield breaker going. I'd love to move away from this clan bossy build.
Yeah, because I can tell you as somebody, I built mine for my free to play with Helm Smasher, and what it has done for me is it has made my Alice a force to be reckoned with in Gold Live Arena on my free to play, which is sad because I'm in Gold Live Arena on my free to play, but there's that too. But yeah, that's really what you want to move her into as your AoE nuker. You want her in Helm Smasher. Brimstone is kind of hit or miss. She's going to have enough accuracy anyway. Brimstone doesn't hurt in arena, but it's certainly not the best arena build for her necessarily either.
It just comes down to like I wasn't going to do it on Fabian. It's because it's got to be on somebody, right? But yeah, okay, cool. I think you gave me a lot of good stuff to think on. You got any final thoughts about this stuff or the roster in general?
No, I said your roster is great, and again, a lot of it too is kind of planning on how you're going to attack things. You've got a plan of attack for clan boss. That's always good. That means you can kind of visualize it and move it. And I think you've gotten to a point now you're not worried about pulling something better tomorrow, which was obviously a problem like 3 days ago.
I was planning through this, and I was talking with my friends that were we were kind of making the plan together before the summons, and I was like, you know what I can do? I'm not gonna do the ascend a magic champion to 6-star until Friday. I'm gonna wait to see who I pull. Then I'll quickly farm the force. And then I already had Sepulchre Sentinel ready. And I was like, who knows? Maybe I'll pull Seeker, And then we pull Venomage, and then we pull Brogni, and then we pull Rotos. And I'm like, all right, who's first? I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like just all at once. Like you've been, so we went with Brogni, by the way. But you've been saying I've got a great roster, and I have been really happy with my epics. That's kind of been part of my spending strategy. This is the third time I went for a Prism pool. The summoning pool I think is really strong for a spender, especially at the start. So that's how I've gotten a nice handful of my good epics, and then I've had a couple lucky pulls like Taragi and Creodin and Nelder. But yeah, I hadn't really pulled any legendaries, so it wasn't really feeling like some crazy account. But then it's like I went from crazy legendaries to 3. Now I'm like I'm kind of set for the next 100 days. Like three awesome legendaries is going to carry me to where I need to be. We one more good fusion out of the next 2. I'm gonna hopefully get the 5-star Ishiyama. These guys are my superstars. Like all of a sudden the account feels a lot more directed.
Yeah, and you've got some good nuker options. Ishiyama will be a nuker option on this early game account. He's not an end game arena nuker, but he could be in this account arena nuker for a while for you, for example. Corrado could be a this account arena nuker for you. You can still build that dude at some point in time. I'm pretty sure he's still on your account.
I've meant to build him like 8 6-stars, and then I'm like, wait, I should probably do this. Wait, and I feel so guilty. Yeah. He's still my signature. He's still my signature champion.
Rotos will certainly take the place of an AoE nuker in some cases. He's absolutely nuts. Fun little trivia bit on my own account on Rotos. Right when I started streaming, I pulled a Rotos, and then I, for the first time ever, beat Hard Doom Tower live on stream. And I got viewer-funded shards. So the same weekend I pulled Rotos, I was given a 20 pull of Voids from a viewer, and I pulled Siphi in that 20 pull after beating the Siphi Rotos floor on Doom Tower. And it was just
that's beautiful.
That was a power swing, and that's kind of the type of power swing you're dealing with right now in your account. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. This is what I always told people too, because I was free to play for so long, and it's like, basically you're gonna have enormous stretches where you can't pull anything, but once you pulled like those random 3 or 4 things, all of a sudden the whole thing looks different. It's like people look at my free to play, and it's like it's so crazy. And it's like, yeah, well, just took that one pull of Trunda, that one pull of Mashald, and there's the account, right? And then you finally reach the UNM, and then you start getting more opportunities, and by over month by month it might look rough, but after a year it starts looking really cool. So I can kind of see that 265 days from now this could look pretty dang cool.
And you got a bunch of different affinities in your clan boss as an option too, which I think is great because
Yeah.
that's one of the things I know that my clan boss team is 4 magic dudes and geomancer, and so it struggles against force, and that's always been a bit of a problem. So
How's your team doing? What are you doing damage wise?
I'm 3 keying. I can almost 2 key against spirit if I get really, really lucky. And in fact, if I get really lucky, I can actually get to like turn 54 or 55 on Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, which is
Nice.
pretty amazing.
That's really good.
But for the most part, it's been a 3 key, and it's not. Unfortunately, it's a 3 key Ultra Nightmare and mostly a 2 key Nightmare, which is 5 keys, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
But it's getting there. We're slowly improving it, so it's there, and that's kind of where you're at. I mean, if you can get to that, that's still better than where you're at right now, and that's fine.
Yeah, totally. I think worst case we'll come out of this with 3 key Ultra Nightmare, 1 key Nightmare, because I'm at 1 key Nightmare most of the time, and I actually just 1 key Nightmare with my 5-star Neve today, so it should only be
Mhm.
uphill from here, as we 6-star her on Monday. But yeah, I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. I'm really actually I've got now that I know we can't get the soul any other way. I'm completely committed to this champ chase. I'll pull everything I've got because I don't know. I saw some testing. Like Scratch had a good video, and his conclusion was that Ishiyama wasn't that good. But in the video, you can see once Ishiyama is wearing the 5-star soul, he was dealing more damage than a 5-star +4 Magnar. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I mean, who doesn't want a 5-star plus soul Magnar? So I feel like he kind of needs the soul, but if we can get the soul, I think we're gonna cook.
Yeah, I know. I know Nubs did a video on him where he did a video and he ended up saying, "You know what? I didn't put the best gear on. I brought a second video out, and yes, his AOE is a little bit disappointing, but his single target
Yeah,
ignore defense nuke is absolutely a real nuke.
yeah,
So don't sleep on a single target nuke. It's still pretty useful.
yeah. I also just think in general, I mean, this isn't about Ishiyama, but just a tip. Like, if they introduce a character and you're on a younger account and the character's unique to your account, like, what else? Like, I don't have a single HP nuker, so I
Mhm.
just have HP nuker gear for nobody. Now I have it for somebody. Like you have this powerful stuff that's unused, and now the game gives you an opportunity to use the powerful stuff and get something powerful. Does it suck that this isn't Fabian 2.0 2 months later? Sure, but like, this is I didn't like how people were acting like this was a bad fusion, because to some accounts like mine, it's going to be a good fusion.
Yeah, it's a thing. I even did a video very recently, branching into hard faction wars on my main account, and something that you're not dealing with obviously yet.
No.
But there's a fusion I skipped on my main for Ugir. I think he's an Ogrin. He's not that great, but he's got a buff strip on his A2 or A3 Ugir. He's a spirit. There he is. He's a meh champion. He doesn't do a ton of damage, but that buff strip, and he'll do it if the enemy revives automatically as his passive. He doesn't hit for a ton of damage, but that buff strip would have helped me in the Faction Wars Hard Floor 2 that I struggled with on my main account because
Yeah.
I didn't do that fusion. And it's one of these things where I think it is so easy to overlook, hey, this champion is not useful, this champion is not good because there are people that do it better. But sometimes it is worth looking at, does this champion expand my roster in a way that might be usable? And sometimes it is thinking about a secret room or a Centranos floor, and now Faction Wars is so much more important with Faction Wars Hard.
Yeah.
So and that's the thing. I think unless there's really this champion does nothing to move the needle on this account, there's rarely a reason to skip a fusion from this champion is bad standpoint. I think that having a champion is better than not having them in most cases.
For sure. Like the example for who I would think would skip, like if you had like Taurus or Narcissus or something, and and like you're a younger account that can't easily complete a fragment fusion, then skip him. I mean, you've got an amazing HP based nuker. But even if you have those guys and you have an advanced account, if you have an advanced account, you should be able to do a fragment fusion in your sleep. So why would you skip, you know? And like now you've got a random Shadowkin guy that has some weird guaranteed debuffs. It's a unique thing. Why not grab it, you know?
We're not saying that you shouldn't do a fusion just because we're saying you should do every fusion now. Don't say you have to do every fusion either. It's just a matter of some people are looking for too many excuses to skip a fusion. I think it's better off to pick and choose the rare ones you skip. I think is better off overall for most accounts.
I think it's spot on. Yeah, like if you're free to play and you're not in like the later game or the end game, then yeah, like you should be a little selective. But aside from that, like you're gonna stay on top of it. I didn't show my great haul. Doesn't really matter, but very boring and conventional. Just in case people want to see, all these are level 3. I just think it's like free points. Ooh, these aren't. Give me 1 sec. I've been meaning to even it out. It's very important to me that it all looks very even.
Well, you have some voids now, so you should be dumping into voids.
I know. Well, this is very new. This is 24 hours new to me. But yeah, I've been ignoring void, but I'll go into it a bit now. But yeah, you got to bring 1 to 10, and then you have to bring 3 to 5. But for the area bonus, this is my tip, which I envision I predict you will agree with. Faction Wars, kind of a weird early game thing to focus, so you can do it a bit, but maybe don't overfocus. But with the hard Faction Wars, this became a lot more evergreen, didn't it? So I feel like early game accounts, because Lydia's so good and because Faction Wars, the resources are so immense, I think people should really lean into this now that hard is here. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's what I've pivoted onto in my my free-to-play account. In fact, I made a mistake. I somehow accidentally thought I was putting points into Faction Wars. Turns out I was putting them in Spider, and I'm actually kind of annoyed at that. But
I thought you were going to say Potion Keep, so it could be worse.
No. Yeah, no. At least it was Spider, so at least it's something I'll use them for. It'll be somewhat evergreen, kinda. But yeah, you know, Hydra is the big one. Faction Wars, I think, is very evergreen. Honestly, I understand why people might be tempted to put it in Clan Boss, but Clan Boss is one of these things that it's a struggle until you solve it, and once you solve it, you will forget about it and never touch it again.
I agree.
So it ceases to be evergreen the moment you can lock away your Demon Lord.
Which, frankly, I think Faction Wars was that until Hard was introduced.
Exactly.
So this is pretty cool. Anyway, Bront, I think that about covers it. Hopefully we can edit this video down to something slightly more manageable than the 44 minutes we've been filming so far. But I think we stayed on track, or at least I did, more than we typically do. Whenever I bring you on, I get excited. I'm like, oh, I want to show you this. I want to show you this. So
it was a lot of fun. It was good seeing your progress, and it's always fun talking with you as well. And we're going to go film a video on mine as well, based off of something he said in another video too. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got to go film on your channel. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Cat Herder over here. We'll have Bront's link in the description of the top pinned comment. Make sure you subscribe to this channel as well. Like the video. And of course, if you're not yet playing Raid, or you want to start over, or you want to start a new account, be sure to use my link. It's the best link in the land. That will also be in the description and the top pinned comment. Thank you to Mitchell for editing this video. Share it with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.